Good afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Via Francigena broadcast live. Is a new, exciting broadcast live today, talking about the St Olav Way in Scandinavia. The route of St Olav Way is an amazing hiking route, a pilgrimage route which crosses Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. This way has been certified by the Council of Europe in 10 years ago. We can consider this route as a Via Francigena's sister or brother in the north of Europe, which has many similarities: slow travels, pilgrimage, and discovery of cultural heritage and local tradition, beautiful landscape, and respect to the nature. The St Olav Way today is a network of 9 paths leading pilgrims to Nidaros Cathedral in Trondheim in Norway. The routes make up a total of around 3,000 kilometers. Today, St Olav Way is one of the most picturesque paths in northern of Europe, offering tranquility of the untouched nature and the spirituality through solemn landscape and endless hills. In this broadcast, we will discover delicious Scandinavian food, tricks to quickly make a tent, suggestion on hostel, and tips of the best time to depart. Today, the broadcast will feature Hans Morten Lovrod, the route manager and the head of National Pilgrimcenter in Trondheim, Ingeborg Conning Offset, director of the Nidaros Pilgrimcenter in Trondheim, and Qing Yuli, a pilgrim and blogger who has written the St Olav guidebook in Chinese. Okay, so we are ready to introduce our guest. Hello everyone. Hello, Hans.
Hello, Luca.
Hello, Ingeborg. Could you hear me? Yes.
We hear you very well.
Hi, yeah. In the same picture, in the same screen is a package of 3 people. Hello, everyone, and many thanks for accepting this invitation to attend this broadcast live on the Via Francigena that meets St Olav Way. So we are ready to get to know our guest from Norway. The first question is about you. Where are you now exactly? How is going?
First of all, thank you very much, Luca, for inviting us to this broadcast. We are really proud of being in cooperation with Via Francigena, and we really appreciate this opportunity to present the route of St Olav Ways. Right now, we are in the Nidaros Pilgrimcenter in Trondheim. You will learn more about this center during this broadcast. As you mentioned, the St Olav Ways are pilgrim routes in the northern Europe, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Norway, ending here in Trondheim by the shrine of St Olav. And Ingeborg will give us the short story of Olav's life and why he is an important saint of Norway and why pilgrimage started to this small little village that grew up to be a big Norwegian city.
Yeah, we are ready to hear. Where are you now? Is this in the library, the breakfast room, living room?
Yeah, this is in the heart of the Pilgrimcenter, actually, the library. This is where the pilgrims are welcomed in the reception here. When they have received or when they have when they come to the cathedral, they see the cathedral, and then they are guided down to the Pilgrimcenter, just next to the river on the back side of the church. And here it's we have hosts that invites the pilgrims in to sit down and to have a chat, to tell about the story of their pilgrimage, and they also get the stamps in their passports and the St Olav letters. That's the same as the Caminos Compostela.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will tell you more about that later. But if you want to hear a bit more about the St Olav.
Yes, this is so we met Hans, if I'm not wrong, last year in a in Monteriggioni in Tuscany during an event of Via Francigena, and we heard about the St Olav Way, and we are so excited and to work together with you and then to develop common projects, because we have a lot of common points with St Olav and Santiago de Compostela and the Via Francigena too. So I think it's important to learn each other. And then the first question I think is for Hans, just to introduce a bit the St Olav route, about the history and why it's so important in Scandinavia this way.
Saint Olav, he was a Viking king. He was born in the year of 997, and he was raised as a warrior. He became a famous politician. He traveled a lot around in Europe and picked up political ideas. He was baptized to Christianity, and he brought the Christianity to Norway. And he was killed in a battle at the battleground Stiklestad in the year of 1030, and that was as a wending point in the Norwegian history. He was declared a saint, and that was important to bring Christianity to Norway, and also to gather Norway as one Christian kingdom.
And nowadays, this way is a network of 9 paths. It's not only the way. The most important probably is the way from Oslo to Trondheim, but there's other 8 ways, maybe less known, but at the same time in the same network.
Yeah, that's right. We have the route of St Olav Ways contains it's more different routes, but the main road is from Oslo to Trondheim through Gudbrandsdalen Valley, as we can see some pictures from right now. And about 70% of pilgrims walking here, the last parts to Trondheim, goes through the Gudbrandsdalen Valley. That's where the infrastructure is the best signposting. We have most accommodations. We have also train stops along the route, so it gives us easy access, and it's a beautiful trail to walk on.
Yeah, and I just a special thanks to Michel Thomas-Penet, the former director of the Council of Europe Cultural Route. It was there 3 times. The first one for the ceremony of the certification in 2010, 10 years ago. Ciao, Michel. Tremendous place for pilgrims and friends of cultural routes. Nice to share this important memory. I've never been to Trondheim. I hope to go to Trondheim soon. Maybe the summer is the best season, not during the winter, but maybe not this year, or why not the next year? And Hans, what about the management of the route? This is a network of the, you were certified 2010. How is working this route at European level?
Yeah, I think we have quite a special situation in Norway, because the Norwegian government they have decided to remark the pilgrim route to Trondheim, and to build it as a pilgrim route for people of today. And we have a network of regional pilgrim centers that takes care of the signposting, contact with local churches, the municipalities, and the volunteers. So in Norway, this is partly financed by the government to coordinate and to get the different stakeholders to cooperate in the pilgrim routes.
And is from your point of view, this way is getting more popular in Norway, in other countries, in terms of hiking and trekking? And then what about the promotion at the national level are you doing?
Well, here in Norway, almost all Norwegians love the nature, and they love taking walks in the mountains and the forests. And year by year, we see that more people wants to experience the pilgrim routes. Both Norwegians, but mostly people out from Europe and the whole world is coming to Norway to experience the pilgrim paths.
Now we are watching the beautiful picture in this video. Yeah, it's so inspiring, so nice, amazing. And Hans, how many times have you walked the entire St Olav Way, to be honest?
Well, so far I haven't walked the entire route. It's I am doing the administrative work, and I haven't got time to do the whole route. Sorry about that. But I've done small parts to get to know the route, and maybe in the future I will do the whole network of routes.
Yeah,
hopefully.
You are a lower intermediate pilgrim. Yeah, got potential for the future. No, thank you for your amazing work, and especially for your network. And Ingeborg, so now we are watching this beautiful picture. We are in Trondheim, the center of the world in Norway, and it's a beautiful landscape, beautiful place. But what about the Pilgrimcenter? We are so interested in that, to know more about the Pilgrimcenter in Trondheim and the Pilgrimcenter, the network. Because, for example, along the Via Francigena, doesn't exist this kind of network. I think it's a very good practice to be extending also along the Via Francigena.
Yeah. Just wanted to comment the pictures that you're seeing now in the video. That's from inside the cathedral, the grave church of St Olav, and yeah, you mentioned the regional centers. Like Hans Morten said, it's a national coordination of all the routes, but along the different paths, there are regional centers to help pilgrims. Both to plan their trips, but also to help them during the way. The regional centers also have the responsibility for the post markings and the connection with the governments and the local authorities to make this like a one route, like for one whole distance. It's important that the pilgrims meet the same kind of postmarks made in the same way. So it's we also work with the information on cultural heritage marks, cultural heritage along the way. So you can have some other experiences along the way as well. So the regional pilgrim center in Trondheim is the last one on from all the paths that gets into the city of Trondheim. And as I said, we are also we are both the reception. We see the picture from the outside of the pilgrim center. That's where we welcome the pilgrims when they have been to the church. And this is where, as I said, where they get the stamps in the passport, and where they can have this St. Olav letter as a proof of their walk on the routes.
And which kind of services are provided for pilgrims in this center? Because it's also an info point, because a breakfast.
Yeah. Yes, we are an info center for pilgrims before they start walking, so we can help them to make reservations, to help them to get tips on how to pack their bags and everything before they go. But then also when they enter here, we can help them with all kinds of things when they arrive in the pilgrim center. We have a bed and breakfast with 44 beds, 18 rooms, where you both can have a single room, or you can sleep in a dormitory, like you can other places along the paths. You can have breakfast included in the price, of course. That you can. The picture that you see now is the room we're sitting in.
I can imagine. Great.
Yeah, and just in the back there, we have a cafe that is also open for other people. We have some seminars sometimes during the year, every month, to give information about the work we are doing and trying to inspiring people to start walking, because it's as Hans Morten said, it's quite a lot of Europeans that are using the pass, but not until now, not so very many Norwegians. But we think it will be a change this year because it's because of this Corona situation.
Yeah, and do you mention before the pilgrim passport? If people come join you with the pilgrim passport, they receive a special discount for them.
Yes, they do that all the way on all the paths for accommodations. Maybe I will show you the the Norwegian passport. Looks like this. It's a bit smaller than the Spanish one, and we have
the stamp.
The stamps,
wow.
Yeah, like this. And when if you have walked this last the last 100 kilometers, you receive the St Olav letter as well, and that you will also receive here. But what we see is that the Pilgrimcenter is also used as a meeting point, a discussion point between pilgrims, and we have quite a big group of volunteers that are all pilgrims that has been walking for many years in different parts of the world, and they are really happy to be here to welcome new pilgrims, and they can sit here for many hours to discuss about their roads and their experiences. So that's really great to be a part of.
Yeah, I think you have a very inspiring job because you meet every day or during the year people coming from everywhere and different part of the world. It's so nice to meet there at the end of this long journey, maybe sharing a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or a food. And then a special greetings to Inger, a friend of the cultural roots, an important ambassador, supporter. Ciao Inger, hi Inger. The summer training last year for cultural roots gave a push to improve our St Olav Way crossing the island. And there is a question, but it's not in English. I have no chance to me to translate. I think it's in your language. I don't know if you can answer or not. It's about probably if you want to answer.
Yeah, it's a question about the distance between Oslo and Trondheim. And how many? Yeah, and it's 647 kilometers long, and it takes about 4 weeks normally.
32 days.
32 days.
32 days. Yeah. Okay. And there's another one. Maybe it's connected to the first one.
Yes. This is about how if it's guidebooks that explains the routes, and there are in several languages. You will soon meet the Chin Yu that has written one in Chinese. So there are one in Italian. I know we have several on the different routes in German. I know there was one pilgrim here last year that worked on a French book. So yes, there are, but they are not complete of the whole network.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about the guide, this is the guide, the recent guide in Italian. Terra di Mezzo is the most important Italian publisher. And then, I hope that many people will buy this guide just to Italian people, because there are not so frequent Italian pilgrims along the St Olav Way. So I hope the next summer, maybe not this one, next summer, many people from Italy we walk along the St Olav Way. Special greeting to Catherine Yair, another important ambassador of the cultural roots. He's working from the European Thermal Town Network. He's based in England. And Chinyu, now the floor is yours, because finally we are going to talk about the path, about the way. Chinyu is originally from Taiwan and has lived in Trondheim since 2003. In summer 2019, last year, she took the train to Sandval and walked the way home along St Olav Way. He spent 30 days, not 32, along these 600 kilometers and had the best time of her life. After this journey, she aims to be a pilgrim for life. Her book, On My Way Home Along St. Olav's Land, in Chinese, was published in Taiwan in April 2020. So congratulations, but yeah, we really want to know more about your story, about your experience along the St. Olav Way last year.
Hello, everybody. It's very nice to be here, to be able to share my story. Because indeed, I had the best trip of my life last year. Just as Hans Morten and Ingeborg mentioned, there's a network of different routes along in the St. Olav Ways network. The one that I walked was actually from Sweden. It was the east-west connection. So I didn't walk from Oslo. The route St. Olavsleden from Sweden was actually the way the king, St. Olav, came back from Russia towards the way to Stiklestad, where he died in the battle. So the route itself was officially 580 kilometers, and I spent 29 days to walk the whole route.
Did you walk alone? Were other people, other friends along the way?
I actually I started on my own, and the plan was to walk most of the time on my own. But I had two friends joining me for parts of the trip. One joined me for 3 days, and another one joined me for 7 days from Stiklestad, the where the king died, back home to Trondheim. So, but I met some other people along the way, so I joined them from there and then. And so I was probably 50% on my own and 50% with somebody else.
And a question is about, is it safe enough for a woman to walk alone the St. Olav Way? It's not dangerous.
It is, actually. My experience was that of course, I was not very sure about everything, but I was mostly worried about my own physical capacity than to worry about the dangers along the way. I think most of the time I was on my own. It was not many people, and either along the country road or in the forests. I have never felt, threatened or endangered.
And
throughout my trip,
and
other than being tired.
Right. And tell us a little more about it. This guide. When have you written this important guide? And then there's another important photo that I want to ask you to introduce this very nice picture along the St. Olav Way.
Yeah, it was actually a great initiative from my publisher, my editor. When we were doing this book, just a little bit background about why I did my route and why I wrote a book about it, probably. I grew up in a very spiritual and religious family in Taiwan, and with some Oriental religions. I'm not a Christian. But my sister, she was the one who inspired me to walk, to become a pilgrim, because there are a lot of very nice pilgrim routes all around the world. And she walked in Japan in this Shikoku Hendo, 1,200 kilometers some years ago. And she wrote a book about it, and she started to promote that route in Taiwan. So for me, it was like, wow, my sister, and she was not a sporty type, and she could make, like 1,200 kilometers. I definitely managed 600, right? So I joined her actually for part of the route when she was doing it for the second time. And I joined her for about 150 kilometers. And for me, it's like, and I got really, really inspired. I think that's why I decided to become Pilgrim for Life, because this is something that once you started, you would never stop. I think a lot of people understand what I was talking about. And when I wanted to do a full pilgrim for myself, I decided to do it in Trondheim, or towards Trondheim, where I lived for, like 16, 17 years. And this is actually partly because I want to thank the city and thank St Olav for being very nice to me. All the years that I've lived here, I was really having a great time. I work as a climate advisor at the municipality in Trondheim. So another reason to recommend this kind of journey is actually that this is very climate friendly. It's almost emission free. So I was really, really happy that I spent like my summer holiday 2019 almost CO2 zero. That's the most climate friendly of my trip ever.
Nice to hear from you about that. Do you have your pilgrim passport with you?
Yes, it was actually what Ingeborg was showing, but I'm
okay with the stamps.
Yeah, that's fine. But this is the final
Authentic.
stamp in the Nidaros Cathedral that I got at the center here.
And what about the last stamp? Could you?
Yeah, this is the last stamp, the cathedral. But I have been walking back and forth several places.
And
so yeah, this is the one from the center here, and this is the one from the cathedral. I have to say there is another very important stop during this east-west route, since this is the route where the king came back with, and so there's a lot of like the picture that you were looking at. It's a St Olav spring. It's where his army and the horses found water when they are coming back from their battle towards Stiklestad. This over here is a very important one because I got it from Stiklestad, where the king died, and there you can find a cultural center where and a very beautiful open park with different, actually 3 religious landmarks from 3 different religions. You can find a Catholic chapel, you can find an Orthodox church, and you can also find a Christian church, which I find very unique. So that is definitely worth visiting for the pilgrims.
And what's happened when you arrived in Trondheim, the ending point? You received this like a testimonial, this certificate. Is the church the subject, the body in charge to give you this certificate? There is a special ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, when I arrived, first I got myself registered at the Pilgrimcenter to sign myself on my list, and then I got this Olav's letter, Olav's brevet. Can show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Cool. Wow.
And what's very exciting is that this is a new design, and it's designed with flowers and like Nordic flora and landscape. So other than this letter signed and with stamped with my name on it, of course, and then you can also get a very nice explanation about what kind of flower it is, what kind of landscape it is. So this is what I get from the pilgrim reception here. Mm-hmm. And in the same evening, during most of the days in the summertime, or at least a couple of times during the week, there is a pilgrim messe. How do you say that? Yeah, mess. Yeah. A religious celebration in a way, or a recognition for all the pilgrims arriving. So I attended the service at 6 o'clock in the evening, which is for free, of course, for the pilgrims, and you can sit in the cathedral itself and feel welcomed, and like a beautiful ending of your journey. It's a beautiful experience. Even though I've been in the cathedral many times as a resident here, but that was a very unique experience.
Thank you, Chinyu, for sharing your personal experience in this amazing journey you had last year along the St Olav Way. I have a question with you, not me, but Elena. Elena was a guest last week. Chinyu, did you meet any wild animals? I don't know, a strange animal with 5 hands, or I don't know, a special bear? along the way?
Well,
Because you are in the forest.
I haven't met any. That was a good question. First of all, I am rather used to the Nordic nature because I have been living here many years and I have been to not a lot of walks. But still, all the time in the nature, before I started, I was a little bit afraid as well because some people mentioned the bears, some people mentioned different things, but I didn't met any. The one thing that was kind of annoying last summer was mosquitoes. Because it was a very wet spring summer, so there was say that they have an explosion of mosquitoes last summer, but that was easy to handle.
Okay, hello Chiara, Chiara Trentin. The St Olav Way is on my wish list of ways, so it's good to know it's the wishes list. Maybe can get in touch with you, Chinyu. No, thank you again, and then we can get back to you later. And we can get back to Hans just to talk a bit but one of the crucial point, one of the most important point for pilgrims, for hiker, is especially the maintenance of the route, the signpostings along the way is a challenge because you have 3,000 kilometers, 600 kilometers on the main path. How you are managing this crucial point, Hans?
Well, we are cooperating close with the municipalities, and each municipality take care of the route through their area, and our regional pilgrim centers are coordinating all the districts and provide them with signs and logos so they can do the job. But it's important that both the municipalities and the landowners feel like they are a part of the whole pilgrim work. So they keep on doing this job because the Norwegian nature with a cold winter and sometimes the warm summers, all the weather, it gives a very, very special situation that it needs to be maintained every summer to show the right way for the pilgrims.
Yeah, good to know that. And Hans, what about the involvement of the local communities and villages and towns along the way? Is any kind of cooperation with them? Because as the Via Francigena, for example, the Via Francigena has an important impact from the economic, social, cultural, and tourist point of view. Is it the same along the St Olav Way?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the reason why the Norwegian government decided to make a pilgrim strategy for both the point of view for local business and for the environment, the people health. All these different perspectives are important, and we are cooperating with the local churches to be sure that the churches are open along the route. We are cooperating with the local hostels and small bed and breakfast. We need all these stakeholders to work together and to move in the same direction at the same time to have a good offer for those who are walking along the routes.
Thank you, Hans, because this is one of the topics maybe we can include in some future common European projects in terms of exchange good practices involving local communities and maintenance of signpostings involving regions and villages. I think is the most relevant part of the St Olav Way, as the San Camino de Santiago and the Via Francigena. Now we are watching other beautiful and fantastic pictures. And I have another question for Ingeborg. It's about the, as you can say, the pilgrim target audience. What is the typical St Olav pilgrim? Where the people come from? You say mostly from Norway, but not many from Italy. And what the other?
Well, we have pilgrims from 40 different countries, and the age spans from 18 to 80. So it's really difficult to say what the typical St. Olav pilgrim is. Some of them walk alone, some work in couples, some walk in small groups. But mainly, there are well, the most part are Europeans, Germans, Dutch, some Spanish, and Italians, but not very many. And of course, Swedes and Danish, and now also Finnish, because we have opened the St Olav Waterways from Finland last year. And that's really exciting to see. And we have a good cooperation with also eastern parts. We hope maybe we also will have a pilgrim path to Russia. But that's a very important part of the history of St. Olav, his stay in Russia. And we have a lot of St. Olav churches and other cultural heritage parts from or in the eastern parts, because the Vikings, they traveled with the boat on the rivers all the way to Russia, and that's a part of the history that we don't really we can't track that story right now in the pilgrim paths that we have right now. So we hope.
Ingeborg, could you discover the St Olav's Way by bicycle or only on foot?
You can by bicycle. Some of them, this one that Jin Yu has traveled from Sweden, that's actually starting on the east coast of Sweden, and it's crossing Sweden, and it's coming into the Norwegian border that way. That's really good to travel by bike. But if you plan to travel by bike, you should contact the local regional centers before, just to be sure that it's good, because sometimes there are water floods, and there can be some difficulties in some parts. So it's good to do a bit of research before. Also, the Oslo Trondheim part can also be used or experienced by bikes, but some parts are not really well designed for that.
Okay, and Ingeborg, included in this series of photos, there were many nice pictures about food. And food gastronomy normally is an important, crucial point for pilgrims, for tourists, for hikers. And just curiosities about the typical St. Olav breakfast.
Yeah, well, it depends very much where you are, but it is a part of the pilgrim strategy is to use the pilgrim paths as windows to look into the local societies. And for that, the food is really important. It tells a story about the people that lives there, their local traditions of how to preserve food, for example. The region of the mid of Norway now, where all the paths comes in, it's called the home of Nordic flavors. And we are really focusing on telling the story about the local traditions when it comes to food, and the quality of this local food is getting really well recognized now also in the international societies. And in Trondheim now we have just a couple of this year we had some new Michelin stars restaurants, and that's because of that this local focus and ecological focus that is so important in the pilgrim work here in Norway.
A message for Adriano Di Gongiari, a friend and another ambassador of the Via Francigena in this case, but he's a St Olav lover. Fantastic places, fantastic path. I spent the last 4 years along this path. I was in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Anna Island. So, ciao Adriano, thank you for joining us for this nice broadcast live. And another question from Elena. So curious, Elena. Waffle with brown cheese? I don't know, special food. Could you?
Yeah, it's very special food, and it's very, very Norwegian. And here in the Pilgrimcenter, we even have waffles with the pilgrim mark on, with this logo on. And it's all the pilgrims that comes here. They get that waffle with this local brown cheese that doesn't really taste like Italian or French cheese. It's a bit sweet, and it's made of goat milk, and it's a kind of a caramel taste almost. And either you like it or you don't. I like it.
You like it. And which is your favorite food in Trondheim?
Oh, that's difficult. Yeah, I'm a fish lover. So we have the river that just go by here. And my father, he fishes salmon in this one. And his smoked salmon, I think, must be my favorite dish, and it's really, really local, and it has a long tradition in this part of the country. And then we have the fjord that goes the other way. We also have a coastal pilgrim path that goes all the way on the coast of Norway, where you can travel by boat. Of course, you can travel by your own boat, or you can travel by like a communal transport with bus and boat and what you have, and it's a lot of that was the most important pilgrim transport route actually back in the Middle Age. That was the coastal one, and it's so many histories, and there are so many foods to be discovered. So Trondheim just lays in where this river and the coast meets, and of course that was also transport routes back in the days, and there are so much great food that comes from both the rivers and the sea to be discovered in this region.
I am a fan of salmon, and then I'm sure that the salmon that I buy every week in the local supermarket here in Fidenza where I live is not the same test of salmon that you can fish in Norway. And message from Michelle, approved. Smoked salmon must. I think food is in any case an important part of the route. And then we can get back to Chinyu just for other practical question, because there are pilgrims, there are curious pilgrims, maybe not this year, this summer, as Adriano is saying, maybe this year, this summer is very difficult to get there but why not next year? If I want to discover the other path along the St Olav Way, where I can get information, there's a website, many guides, application, or where I can get information in general.
Best information. Well, I think the National Pilgrimcenter now has updated their website with a very good map. So you can just go into the pilgrimsleden.no. I think you can show it probably the information on the screen later on. That is a very good site to start with, because then you get the practical advice about how to pack, and you have a very detailed map. When you zoom in, you can get all the information about the accommodation places, contact information, and scenic places where you can very small lot along the fjord, the so-called outer path back to Trondheim. So I will go to a monastery and I'll take a boat back to Trondheim. And I was using the website as a very good information resource.
There's a question from Adriano. I'd like to know if there is a plan to align all the information on the sites and the only one source of information. I don't know if the official website is okay,
well,
or if there's many websites.
The website that I talk about, the Pilgrimsleden.no, it was the Norwegian site, and it covers all the routes that's approved in the map, right? Approved in the system right now. But if you want to walk the Sweden-Norway path that I walked, St Olavsleden, that has also its own site called stolavsleden.com. And that is run by the Swedish people. And it has also some very good useful information about that parts of the route. I think if you combine these two sites together, you get enough information. Of course, you can enjoy hiking along St Olavsleden with a group with a lot of enthusiastic people, local people, and also pilgrims with experience. You can ask all kinds of questions. Like I ask questions, do I need to bring my walking poles to support me? And then right away, I got a lot of useful replies.
And Chinyu, is it possible to get lost along the way, to lose the path?
Well, actually, I managed to do so a number of times.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I realized, okay, that was not correct, and I moved back pretty soon. The signposts along St Olavsleden that I walked was actually quite nice. Well, the reason why I got lost was probably I was not paying attention. It was not because that the signpost was not clear enough. But I think as a pilgrim, you have to get lost a couple of times to make your trip more exciting, right?
Yeah. And what about the new next goal for you? Are you planning to walk another St Olav Way?
The good question, because I have made up my mind to walk from Oslo back home again in 2 years. So in 2022, I'm going to do another 600 kilometers of walking.
And why not walking the Via Francigena? Maybe we can have an exchange. I can join you. I can walk the St Olav Way, and you can walk the Italian part of the Via Francigena, just to have a different angle.
I would love to do that because, as I told you before, I started my pilgrim experience in Japan, and I didn't complete the whole route. So I would do that. And when I was actually finished with my part of the trip, I did a small local tour, and I bumped into a 70-year-old Spanish woman, Veronica. And I talked to her because I could speak a little bit of Spanish. And so I talked to her a little bit, and I asked her, okay, you're Spanish, you're in Japan, so you must have done the Camino before, right? And she said, yes, I've done it twice, once from Paris and once from Roma. So I was really, really inspired by her. I hope I could keep walking until I was 70 or 80 or 90. And then definitely I would do Via Francigena.
Right, good to hear of that. And Adriano, if you need maybe some details on contacts with Hans, I can put you in touch with Hans, maybe about website and other information you need to manage your next walking trip. So we are quite on the end of this broadcast live. So thank you very much, and Hans, Ingeborg, and Chinyu, because you gave us this inspiring overview about this European culture route. We are so proud to share this information. We are part of the same family of the program of the Council of Europe Cultural Route. So I hope to see you soon maybe in Norway or in Italy. I know that Hans is a lover of Italy. He had to spend
right.
1 month in Tuscany. How many days did you stay in Tuscany? It was a too long stay, but yeah, I hope that you enjoy. Now I think it's time for the aperitif. I don't know which is the most common aperitif in Trondheim. Wine, tea.
Not tea.
Oh no aperitif. No. Alcohol.
Are you kidding us? No.
With the aperitif with tea is so sad. Yeah.
Local beers.
Beer, yeah. Local beer is great. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for our viewers and public. And next Friday, we have the last broadcast live, focus on Green Pilgrimage. Green Pilgrimage is a European network financed by the European Commission. There was an exchange of different regions with the common goal to develop pilgrimage in Europe involving 5 countries. So again, Hans and to you and Ingeborg, thanks a lot on behalf of the European Francigena network, and keep in touch, and bye-bye. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.